What is up? Welcome back to Mangaku, YouTube's only manga book club, where we review a new set of 4 volumes every other week. Joined as always, Josh, Jose. This week we did Raw Hero by Akira Hiramoto, who is the author of Prison School, which is absolutely fantastic anime manga. Really, really good. And what'd you guys think? Meh?
I thought, it was okay.
Okay. We did the first 4. I don't know what that translates. I was thinking when I was reading this, what does the first 4 translate into a season of anime? Because it does really feel like not much happened.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, how far into a season of anime would we be? Because if this was all of a first season of anime, it would definitely be a pass.
Yeah.
I would say 2 seasons. It feels like maybe even 3-ish.
For 4 volumes, you think? 27 chapters?
I feel like that's a whole season for me.
You think this is a whole season?
Yeah, right. It kind of drops off at a random little
Potentially. I mean, where we end ends on a huge cliffhanger. So I do see where that could potentially be the big cliffhanger of the season and go into the other one. I was just wondering what the general chapter to season amount normally is. Obviously, it's going to vary a little bit.
I always feel like it's 1 or 2 chapters per episode kind of thing, and you get 24 to 26 episodes.
It's more than 1 or 2. You think chapters? Not much happens in a chapter.
It depends,
well, it
on,
depends
the
on what.
chapter too.
I feel like if you're doing a shonen, you might be able to get 3 fucking chapters in one episode.
I don't think in most you get 3. I'd say most for 4 chapters.
4 chapters?
Yeah, I think a lot of chapters.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Not much happens in it unless you're reading something that originally came out as a monthly format because the chapters are very long.
Yeah.
Like when we did Vigilantes and started off very long.
So, that's what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I remember when we got to a certain point, I was breezing.
Usually
through
when
chapters.
they do monthly, the chapters are longer.
Got you.
So, but for Raw Hero, I thought pretty much the same thing. It was pretty mediocre, which is sad because I really like Prison School. I thought Prison School was super, super good. This one I was reading the whole time. Had a couple of funny moments in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I'm just not interested in reading anymore. I'm just really not.
I can't tell if it was hey, what if we wrote a shonen anime or shonen manga, and instead of focusing mainly on the action and every once in a while to have the romance, we just flip it. And because the parts that I actually enjoyed were the romance parts, and that was about
I was
it.
actually really into that one part too.
Yeah, it felt like all the parts are there. It could have been really good, but it felt and it was weird because we only read 27 chapters and it was 4 volumes, and normally we're at in the 30s, 40s or something like that. But it literally felt like we did nothing. It was that 2-year period in
first
Poon Poon.
volume was just kind of
And they are
Yeah.
thin volumes. If I take this first one here, it is a thin thing. So it does make sense for it to be less, but
it
still.
didn't take long to read. But when we read Gigant or whatever, that shit I breezed through almost an hour.
I felt like I did the same with this. I felt like this was gone very quickly for me.
There was a few chapters where I was just wow, there's a lot of reading going on.
Yeah, some of them had a lot of dialogue. But other than that, it wasn't too bad.
I would say it took 3 hours or so, 3.5 hours
Yeah,
for all this.
That. It was.
You read way quicker than I do.
Pretty quick. So,
but nothing happened.
So would you guys at all be interested in continuing to read this?
That's probably a no for me.
No.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the art style and everything was really
Yeah,
well
his
done.
art's fantastic.
Oh my God,
crazy.
Just the story didn't really catch on. I thought it was really funny what he has to do to get a job, but other than that,
this would have been one of those good if they went full hentai and then just posted this online as a hentai manga.
Yeah.
Would have been a pretty damn good one. I feel like this would have been a good love triangle with that background hero shit. Because some of the heroes, I forget what the fronts look like. I'm only looking at the back right now. But the main hero chick that never gets mentioned but is always there.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that person. There is absolutely nothing about it going on.
Yeah, she's pretty cool, but you see her only a couple of times. That's it.
And she doesn't talk. She doesn't say do anything other than just
But she's probably a badass. So
that's what I was thinking too. But I just don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
so
I gotta agree. I wish they focused more on the hero stuff. Because there's just so little of it. Really, there's so little of it.
Or even just not even pop the hero part. I feel like if they didn't have the hero part, it would have just been hey, it's cops versus robbers almost. It could have been really mellow.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back into the spoiler version of this review. So what we do is we do spoiler free, which is done, and then we're going to head into the spoiler written section. So if you just wanted to know, should you read Raw Hero? How does it compare to Prison School? I don't think it's nearly as good. Right. So we're going to go into our spoiler section of what we liked. So if you don't like that, stop now, and we're going to move on in. I saw these covers a lot at work. A lot. When they were coming in. Yeah, art looked really, really good. not for a second did I think one of them was a boy.
Yep.
I was just not for a second.
I mean, the whole time there's a dick in his panties, and they just get those shots where
They
like
confirm it for you.
you sure like that? I don't think you're even trying to add a bulge in there.
He's just
and I don't understand how is he changing his voice or like what?
Thank you.
Like how do they not recognize his voice?
maybe his superpower was whatever he wears. He kind of like
Oh.
Yes.
because there's only a select few people that have superpowers here.
Yes.
Yeah, and like it's just some of them seem fucking lame. But I mean, like in general, this shit was like, yo, how the fuck is he walking around? Like he was thinking about the love of his life, and he's not popping an erection at any point in the day while wearing like the skimpiest of outfits.
Yeah, they write that off when he gets the what is it, like the fucking crotch
plate?
cover thing.
Yeah.
Where it's
At
like
the end of our reading.
the very end, he gets to like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, every part up until then, it's like nah, whatever.
Man has never had an erection in his life. He can just hold it in there, and my balls slipped out that one time when I got the
I thought
picture.
that was fucking
But
funny.
we could just say that's my vagina.
Yeah.
It's like, what vagina?
Why is the main like kind of badass that we've met so far of the Special Ability Liberation Front? Why is her jelly fish?
Okay,
Why?
I
got a
misread it
stinger.
the first time I read it. I was like, oh, jellyfish. That's pretty
That's
fucking
how I read it
cool.
the first time
Yeah.
too. I was
And
like, oh,
then
jellyfish.
Every time after, I was like, jelly-fish, you bitches.
Yeah. Why is it like that?
I was like, so when I would hear it in my head, I was like, jelly-fish.
Because
Like,
every time she's like directly talked to or mentioned, it's always jelly fish. Where it's like we're never going like Joshua J. Kaiser or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like hey, that's Josh J. Kaiser over there.
exactly. But like, I'm thinking just in the E fucking section.
Yeah.
Why did you put an extra E in there? Like, why would we have to do that?
Why?
But yeah, I didn't even think about the why you're using her full name.
It just like it doesn't make any sense. And I get like it's probably her villain name that
Yeah.
they refer to her as, but why?
I was
I was
gonna
like,
say they use
electric.
Oh, jelly electric fish. You think so?
I don't know.
At this point, like
That
they
would
could
kind of
really
make sense. That would kind of make it redeemable.
But I mean, jellyfish sting you, and then she has 2 whips. So I
Yeah.
was like, ooh.
And
then
we're
we
all
have-
on the same page that
that's her, right?
Mariko
Yeah.
is jelly
Yeah,
fish,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's
They got away with it for so like.
For like a good majority of it.
And then she gets the phone call after whipping the one chick's ass. It's like, oh, it's her. Like
Yep.
they couldn't
Yep.
even like hide this shit. I was gonna say she was the hero.
I like her though.
for a while.
So that's what I was thinking first too.
Yeah.
That because we meet the badass hero first,
Yeah.
and I was like, ooh, she's probably gonna be this because like
The
at
very-
the point, Chiaki was already like falling, kind of like, oh, these guys are really nice. Like, I'm
Yeah.
having a good time hanging out with all these villains. I was like, ooh, the girl she likes is gonna be the hero, is gonna be all
Yeah.
fucked, and then it was like, no, she's actually the main villain.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, that's even cooler because you see her at the very beginning of the manga, like a building explodes or something like that. And
Yep.
she's nude drawing, and you're like, oh, and then you get an introduction to the hero chick. You're like, oh, she's the hero chick. Yeah, they set us up for fucking. Now we don't even know who the hero chick. There's not even a character.
It reminds
in the
me
game.
of a comic I Kill with Esdeath and Tatsumi.
Ah.
That's what this
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of, where it's just like,
Do you think that's where it's gonna go?
I don't know. Well, it's like we end off on the big cliffhanger, where by the way, they really do not like make the justice side very sympathetic. Like
No,
they're,
there's
not at all.
nothing.
They
they're
make 'em
all
assholes.
psychos. Every
Yeah.
single one of them. It's like I do not like. I like Cap. But
He's funny.
Yeah, he's
even
funny as
he's
fuck.
a psycho, but it's like all the other heroes, quotes, they're awful.
Yeah.
They're so awful.
I mean,
They're too big in their heads, kind of thing. Like
South is cool, but I swear to God, like what is it, Hoshi? That dude I can't stand. I
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
I
he's
love how
annoying.
they changed the way how thick his neck
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
Every
depending
single
on
time.
how awful
Yeah.
he's being or like
he's
stupid.
great. He's like just straight a scumbag.
Yeah.
Just like trying to do whatever he can, and he's just getting absolutely demolished every time.
Ah, guys, I became a hero or a monster.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
what's with all the face sitting?
I think it's the whole panty thing. Like if you're into panties, I guess it's the square rectangle situation.
Yeah.
Sam would call it.
Yes.
If you're into panties, you might probably be into face sitting too. When Morocco was gonna face sit on Chiaki that one time,
first time?
when she was like drunk, I thought, oh, she's trying to pee, and he's
That's
going
what
to
I
get
was.
peed in
I was
his
like,
fucking
oh, it's gonna be
mouth.
funny as fuck.
And I am not ready for this manga to go to that fucking turn. And then she just plops down and falls asleep. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, logically, I was thinking like she has to start peeing.
But
She
then,
said, "Where's
then
the restroom?"
Can you guys imagine like having to clothe the girl?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was stressing out. He's like, I have to clothe her. I was like, ooh.
Our main character is a really good guy.
Yeah,
he,
I like
he is
him.
like
He's funny.
legitimately good guy. He's trying his best for his two young brothers, and it's like he's really legitimately trying,
Yeah.
and it's like he's gonna get in a fucked place.
Yeah, I also like when I hate the fucking new chick, the Pink Ranger or whatever,
Oh,
when she gets
yeah,
introduced
yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell them I will," and he's like, "Fucking do it."
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can over here. He's like, "Yeah, get him." But I've talked about this, like, where like characters like Tanjiro and Demon Slayer, like they're too good. Like they have this sense of justice. Everything's perfect about them. There's no bad qualities. With him, he's got the sense of justice, but he's still like kind of meek and stuff. I don't know. He's like that character, but done properly. Like, I don't feel like, oh, he's
I just think
such
that
a goody two shoes.
I think the difference in that one is there is a reason for Chiaki to be that perfect.
Yeah.
Because like he's going into this world where the guys who are supposed to be good are fucking like pervert psychos,
Yeah.
and then the guys who are supposed to be villains are just fucking weirdos. Like it's
Yeah.
a ragtag bunch, and he's like, I do not know what to do here. And it's like he moves in next to a cross-dresser also,
Yeah.
it's like, or a person likes cosplay, and it's like
Yep.
it's all like his whole life is going up in
That's gotta be
smithereens.
so hard. You befriend these guys that are supposed to be villains,
Yep.
and then you're just kind of caught up being a spy. And you're like, oh, should I rat them out? Like they're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, like the whole thing from the very beginning of the manga is like he is legitimately a good guy, and he keeps fucking himself over because
Yeah.
he's
He's
legitimately a good
I
guy.
mean, what was the first thing we saw? Was he was supposed to go to an interview and get that
Yep.
job, and he gets distracted because Cap's fucking,
Yeah.
So
fingering
weird.
his girlfriend
Dude,
or
those
whatever.
scenes with Cap and like the hired the
yeah.
prostitute
Oh,
were so
God.
funny. Just
When
like,
he's getting
so,
his
so
ass
funny.
slapped at the end, I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
It's so good.
I do really like later on when she's like, oh yeah, I'm having a dinner with everybody else, with Elephant and Jelly E-Fish. She's here. What? And he's like, what the fuck? And
And the car's like bopping everywhere.
I was like, what the fuck?
he was so good. I think he was the best character in all of it.
Also, it's like, oh, this one chick, she's insane. She keeps sending me sexy photos. I can't help you if you don't show me the photos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She just sent me something. I'm coming back. What?
Yeah.
That dude is
It's like I knew
great.
you were a good guy. I'm coming.
Fucking perv, dude. I love him.
I liked the chick he hires too. Like she was
yeah.
mediocre for a
Yeah.
bit, but when she actually was trying, she's like, "You're a good customer. I was trying to, make you proud." And he's like, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. Turn around."
Yep.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah, like his whole thing was really good, and it's like it is obviously going to come down to like he's going to really they kind of set up like when Elephant guy is talking, he's like, our job is to help the weak.
Yeah.
It's like so they are really the good guys.
Yeah, I like that though, the way they did that, and then she gets promoted after sticking up for him and shit.
Yeah, and like a lot when they were
Or
having
he.
that the discussion on the news about like how it all started.
Yeah.
It was like they even painted out like the Special Ability Liberation Front to be good guys. They're like,
Yeah.
they think that like this thing that the government is hiding, like
Yeah.
it could cure diseases, it could help people do
Yeah.
this, that, and it's like, and yet they're keeping it all for themselves, so nobody else can use it.
And so I didn't even realize, but it was nice because you were reading that and you're like, oh, they're not really painting him in a bad light or
Yeah.
anything. But yeah, so you get. I like how Cap was riding the scooters. Like, don't you know people
Dude,
just like to
I
ride scooters?
love that part.
He's like, why aren't you
But-
driving?
And he was like, when you pick justice, like you'll always be on the right side. And it's like, okay, so we're clearly going to diss Cap at some point.
Yeah.
Like, even Cap was realizing the fucking one chick was like going full rogue, and she's like, probably not a good apple.
Yeah, I think Cap told him when they were talking, I was like, run away. Like,
Yeah,
if you
just
see them,
get out.
fucking run. Because like she's not following. He has the fucking pussy rangers now, and it's
Yeah.
like she's going on a fucking rampage. Like, please just stay away.
The fucking pussy ring.
But that scooter scene was so good when like Chiaki was like, why are you on a scooter? Like, oh, are you one of those anti-scooter people?
you know what that reminds me of? Danny a lot.
Yeah.
that guy's
Oh.
straight up Danny.
I was thinking, it was an argument with Sam in the body of Danny.
Yeah.
Just, what are you against scooters over here? Was just fucking scooting
It's
around.
like everybody has a day where they want to ride scooters.
I mean, I agree. I fully get it.
Yeah. It was
But
really, really good. And then I really liked his relationship with his two younger brothers.
Yeah.
Specifically,
They
the
were
youngest
funny as
one
fuck.
was so pure.
Oh,
Did
my-
you like how you found out what Intercoms was way later on? I was like, is Intercom some video game? Is it just like Zoom or some shit? And they're like, oh no, we just talk to each other. From the
I
fuck-"
always knew
Yeah.
it was going to be
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like when you go to an apartment and they buzz you in.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Well, they say you put your face up on the screen. I was like, what? I don't get this.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I always figured out what
Mm-hmm.
that was. But any part where it's like he says something, everybody's just like, "Aw,"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Bastard.
yeah, it's like here you go.
Speaking of him, wasn't it weird when like they were doing the bath scene and she decided that she was gonna take her top off and then she put it back on? Like, what vibes did we get here? Because that felt weird.
I was
That
okay
didn't
seeing
feel
her
weird to
boobs.
me.
Yeah.
The way she was like,
because everything I've ever seen of a bath scene, they're always like naked. Sometimes I'll have a towel wrapped around them, but like if
So
it's like
you
a mom and a
think
kid, they're almost always naked.
Yeah,
So
that like makes sense though.
like I was surprised she had the swimming suit on when we went to
me
that
too.
scene. I was like, oh, okay. And then
But-
even the kid was like, oh, well, aren't you normally like, why do you have the bathing suit on? Because
Yeah.
like that's the standard. And then she's like, oh yeah. And then she's like, oh no, I shouldn't. It's-
okay,
like
yeah,
this ain't my relative kind of thing.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit weird for her, but I can see it.
Especially if it's like they literally met on the fucking lobby and we're like,
that
hey,
shit was
come
fucking
hang
funny. She
out.
just hasn't come inside, and she's like
Yeah.
hugging him,
That's
and then
a
the
nice-
brothers are like, "You spent the day with
Yeah.
her."
But when he's like, "Oh, she's gonna marry you" or something
Yeah.
like that, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah. I love it. Like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. It's like, oh, are you calling me a liar?
Yep.
That
Oh.
was the best. He wanted a big sister.
Yeah, it was really good.
I really did it. Yeah, it was. But so she does like the fucking snot thing. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But speaking of snot, is the elephant guy really an elephant? Like they
I
say
think
he
so.
has
So I think
so.
he
I
went
think-
into the monster surgery and
Yeah.
like now he is like an actual
Remember,
like.
we
so
got
this isn't like
we got
a
his
helmet.
backstory where I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, where he was a little
Yeah.
kid and he wore the little hat
He
with the
was so
little
sweet.
elephant. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Was that a
that's
hat
dope.
or was that like a budding? It was before.
I think it was a
fully-
little hat,
I
and then I
think
think
a
at
hat.
some point he got the monster
Because
surgery.
remember, he's
and
like,
then
oh,
he
I
became-
really like zoos and animals
Yeah.
and stuff like
And then I
that.
found out they didn't have elephants.
Yeah.
I almost feel like some of this would be better as an anime. Like it'd be one of those like weird, like not Fooly Cooly-esque, but there's like other animes.
I
can't think
agree.
of
If they
specifically.
changed it a tiny bit more towards the comedy side, which it did
Yeah.
really well, and a little bit more of the ecchi side, I think it'd be a lot.
And it would just like you'd have those serious moments with Cap, and then fucking Chiaki would be like,
It
"What the
just
fuck
felt
are you
like-
talking about?"
Like with Prison School, neither of you guys have seen it.
No.
But like they have a very succinct like storyline that they're following. Like, and it has a lot of these funny comedy bits in it. But they're like, here's our end goal. Like, here's what's happening here, and they follow that. They're constantly moving the story. This felt like they forgot the story and then focus on the like the funny parts of it so
Yeah.
much. Which like I'm a guy whenever I watch anything, I really want there to be a story. Like,
I agree.
Like I find myself agreeing more and more with Matthew, my younger brother, where he for the longest time has been like, I hate shows that don't have like a concrete story and they
Yeah.
just kind of like, here's a mini adventure, here's a mini
Yeah.
adventure. And I find myself now more and more being the same way as well.
Those are good for when you just want to hop into something really quick and you don't need to
Yeah,
have, like,
I
a
think it's like
commitment.
kind of like those are not good to binge watch, which
Yeah.
is what I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And like even with this stuff where it's like they're like, oh, let's just like here's the thing, and it's like it is following like here's their relationship, but then it's like I mentioned it also in the story of like what's
Yeah.
happening and like progressing that forward.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like when you get a good story going and you see stuff happen, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Because like again, the best parts of this is the love story where they're building that relationship and you're starting to see like fucking crossroads are coming.
Yep.
But they're not interlinking it too well with like the hero portion. Like you can see that, oh yeah, like the fucking main bad chick is gonna like clash at one point with the fucking cop, and now the cop is starting to be interested in Chiaki. You're like, ooh, that's gonna be crazy. But it's still part of the love story. It's not part of the hero story
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, and it seems like they've just kind of put a pause on it, and I was
Yeah.
just like, it is still kind of going because obviously the love story is like kind of intermingled, as we know she is the main jellyfish, so
Yeah.
it is kind of like linked, but it just feels like it's not moving fast enough, and obviously
Yeah.
that could in part be to these are much skinnier volumes than what we're used to.
Yeah.
So it's like this is probably the equivalent. I would probably say maybe like just barely hitting the 3 volume of a
Yeah, I
regular
agree
one.
with that.
But I just feel like I almost feel like it would have been better if we could read more. But even then, the next volume, they always show previews like it's an anime.
Yeah.
The preview for the next one is like them just at dinner, like the whole
Yeah.
dinner thing.
Which seems like a very fun situation
Yeah,
to watch.
But it's like then
then
I
there's
still
a
like
three-way.
oh, so we're still not going forward.
Yeah,
Like it's still
exactly.
gonna be all relationship stuff.
that should have been like the start of chapter or volume 3. Like
Yeah.
if I saw that, I was like, ooh, okay, and then go back into the other story.
Yeah, I just like I don't know because I would be interested if they made this into an anime. I would definitely watch it. I
Yeah,
would definitely
I
give it a
agree with that
watch
part.
and a try to see how it translates over. But I just felt like reading this the whole way through. I was like,
Yeah.
And it's like there were some funny parts. Like we were talking about, we were laughing at some of the
Yeah.
parts,
Cap, dude.
but the whole time, it's like,
Yeah.
It's like okay, whatever.
Yeah, I was reading these at work. I was just like, the fuck am I doing? I could do some work,
I know, I
actually.
got caught reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at work. My assistant manager walked in. He's like, wait, what you reading there, Jose? I'm like, and I wouldn't realize that he was looking. So I was like, what? He's like, oh, reading them hentai stuff, huh? he's like, let me know how it is.
Yeah.
That's just like, no, let me know.
I mean, and it should be stated once again, the artwork is fire.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
fantastic.
he's just a great artist. He really is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this one doesn't even compare to Prison School. And Prison
I
School is
kind
really
of got some excitement from like some characters being like, oh, I remember that character from earlier. And I was like, because Goodnight Poon Poon was like a master class and like, don't put a character in unless they actually have a value or like they come back. I was like, ooh, I see this character is going to be interacting with this group now. And it's like, oh, they didn't really do anything with it. It was just like, it's like Blue Balls.
Yeah,
So,
well, it is that kind of ecchi manga. So
yeah, I would like to know how they would adapt like those certain parts to anime.
I mean,
I mean, they probably do.
Prison
like,
School was pretty raunchy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
yeah, they
Okay.
could do it. They could definitely do it.
Got you.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, I think it just overall it's just pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's like it is what it is. If you want a fine, like fun little ecchi read and you
Yeah.
like Prison School, you'll probably like this as well. The story's not as strong, but it's still good.
Yeah, I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, I don't hate it. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
physically
good,
revolting.
It's good and it's not bad.
Yeah,
That's where I like
It's
with
like,
it.
if someone asked me, oh, did you read this? Like, yeah, maybe I did. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Like, it didn't really do anything. And I think that's actually a worse compliment than anything.
I would agree. So, okay. So those are the first 4 volumes of Raw Hero. Not much to say on it. It's pretty light. Lots of nice ecchi pictures in
I would
it.
agree.
So
Yeah.
if you want to see that, definitely check out Raw Hero. Once again, it's by Akira Hiramoto, which is the author of Prison School. And 2 weeks from now, we're moving on to a new series. I don't really know anything about it, so I can't describe anything to anybody about it. But it is
Ooh.
called Fire Punch, and it's put out by Viz Manga, I believe is
Oh,
what's put out.
interesting.
And it's part of their signature series, so they're kind of like big volumes like this. A
Gotcha.
little bit thicker. But it's been going on for a long time. Doesn't have an anime. It's like probably like 9-10 volumes in, which
Fire
is pretty
Punch?
weird.
We're going to find out it's just Fire
Um,
Force without
And
a
I
different
always
name.
feel like it's kind of a double whammy. The whole reason we start the show is because it's like, oh, if you get a manga published, it's probably at least somewhat decent.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you've at least hit a bar for it
Yeah.
to be decent. If I feel like Viz / Shonen Jump, like if you get published by them, that's like, oh, that
Yeah.
must be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, and that's Fire Punch. So
Okay.
we'll be reading that next. First 4 volumes, same as this one. So stay tuned for that. Let us know if you've read Raw Hero, what you thought. What did you think of it compared to Prison School? Would love to know your opinions in the comments down below.
I would also love to know if it gets better.
Sure.
Like when I finished this, I
Sure.
genuinely thought
So
maybe
the
I should look
4th
at the
volume of this
Wikimedia.
one just came out, like literally 2
no.
days after our last Mangaku. So this is all that's officially published for the U.S., but it
Gotcha.
is like further, like
Okay.
digitally and stuff. So
Yeah.
that is something that can be answered. Of course, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Weebs Guild in case you want to keep up to date with whatever we're doing next. And we will see you guys 2 weeks from now for another manga review. Have a good one, everybody.